You have a body that stays tired and a calendar that stays full. You live as if your own needs are inherently less important than everyone else's, treating your own feelings as secondary to the comfort of those around you. Most people will tell you to simply learn to say no or set better boundaries, as if the solution were as simple as a change in vocabulary. But if saying no triggers an instinctive urge to apologize for your existence, you aren't suffering from a lack of willpower. This reaction suggests a survival strategy is running in the background, one that standard advice often fails to reach. Most advice focuses on the downstream behaviors you can see, but these actions originate further upstream, from a hidden structural source. Zooming in, we find the inability to set limits is the output of a strategy developed for safety. At some point, your nervous system learned to categorize the disappointment of others as an immediate personal threat. Because of that training, a simple boundary feels like a life or death situation. Your body triggers a false alarm that effectively overrides your logic. It can start with something as small as declining a lunch invitation. To your brain, this benign social moment initiates a high-stakes threat assessment. As these pathways light up, your body experiences somatic discomfort. It's a physical state of panic that mirrors the sensation of facing a physical predator. This response is rooted in internalized rules developed during your early years. In those environments, compliance was often the most reliable way to maintain connection and safety. While that vigilance was necessary then, it becomes a liability in adult leadership roles and professional settings. Chronic overaccommodation is a defense mechanism that performed exactly as intended for years. It is simply a strategy that hasn't been updated for your current life. When you eventually do start setting limits, you should expect friction from the people around you. It's important to remember that another person's disappointment doesn't mean you've done something wrong. Often, their frustration is simply a reaction to losing a system where they benefited from your lack of boundaries. Choosing to avoid that external conflict usually results in internal resentment. Boundaries are the structural requirements that keep a relationship authentic. Moving past these habits requires clinical work that goes beyond typical self-help exercises. The goal is to build a physical tolerance for the discomfort that comes with disappointing someone else. Therapy involves identifying the protective parts of your internal system and updating the rules you learned early on. This allows the rigid, locked patterns shown here to shift into a more flexible network. This process takes time and can be deeply uncomfortable, which is why it requires a strong alliance with a professional. Clinical work aims to decouple that reflexive link between saying no and the feeling of being in danger. Eventually, you reach a state where setting limits is a standard requirement for your well-being, rather than an act of selfishness. You gain the permission to leave a message on read, or to say, "That doesn't work for me," without an exhaustive explanation. You accept the right to have needs that occasionally inconvenience others. You find the space to rest without feeling like you have to earn it through exhaustion first. Choosing yourself is the only way to stop abandoning your own needs just to keep other people comfortable. The team at Coping and Healing Counseling is composed of licensed, culturally competent therapists who specialize in this specific therapeutic work. CHC provides HIPAA-compliant through. They accept most insurance, including a $0 copay for Medicaid, providing the professional support needed to help you reclaim your boundaries.